Oh, one thing that didn't make... Now, another plot hole. Yes, I understand that there wasn't much of a plot in this movie, but I would call this a plot hole. Why was the executioner in this movie?
I'll get to that. Hold on. Well, anyway, after she takes Claire, she ends up in Los Angeles because she's, like, going around the world looking for survivors. And Los Angeles is in flames, and she finds a prison, and there's, like, survivors on it. And they're, like, telling her, "Land, there's a plane! Someone signal it! Someone get it to land!" When Alice sees them, she tries to land on the roof of the building, which I admit is kind of cool. But I didn't say the action was bad in this movie. The action was amazing. But anyway, the plane circles around the building. Eventually, yes, she lands. They stop the plane from falling over the cliff. Oh, and this is one of the funniest parts I've ever seen. When the plane's crashing across the roof, it hits the other side. And it's about to fall into, like... It's about to fall off the building and into like, the pit of zombies. And, like, right when it's, like, tipping over like that, the NFL guy... or whatever, just like jumps up in the air and grabs the tail and pulls it back. That was the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen. And it's not like he was in the NBA. He's not a basketball player. It would make a little more sense if he was a basketball player and jumped up in the air like that, like he's on a frickin' trampoline. But he's an NFL player. It made no sense. I don't even remember his name. Anyway, after she...
Larry, I think.
I don't remember. And anyway, she gets out of the plane and she meets all these survivors. Oh, and by the way, don't expect any character development of these survivors. I mean, there is none. Absolutely none.
The producer guy, you find out he's a douche.
Well, yeah, you find out the producer is a douche. But
oh, and you find out that and a formula that this movie follows is the classic formula where the guy. There's this big bad girl, right? Like Alice. But there's this guy, this tender guy that she ends up falling in love with. But she thinks he dies. But then at the very end of the movie, boom, there he is.
Well, she never saw him live, but...
But he does.
Anyway, these characters, you get no plot development, character development with them at all. You get no background of these characters except what their occupations used to be. I mean, there's nothing. They don't even have any emotions at all. They're just always have like these bland emotions going.
No,
like,
wait,
no sadness, no happiness, sort of like that bland, just like, hey, let's cook some food. Hey, what are you gonna do? Hey, we need to get out of here.
Hey, I'm gonna watch Alice take a shower.
Yeah. And these characters had no development. The only point of these characters being there was to be killed off at random times. All these new characters you see, they will be killed off in the next 30 minutes, and you will not expect it, but they'll be just killed off in the next 30 minutes.
And you want to know something that doesn't make any sense?
So there's no point to them.
You never actually even see them die. All you ever see is them being dragged underground.
Yeah, they're always killed off screen, except maybe two of them, but the rest are killed off screen. And crap, I lost my train of thought. Shit.
Character development.
Character development? So I'm just really tired. It's 10 o'clock right now. Crap. See, I was talking about character development. And what?
Is this going to be edited out?
Edited. Yeah, we're going to edit this out? Crap! Oh, wait, now I remember. These characters are only for being killed off later.
Steak on marshmallow head.
Killed off later, so there's no point in addressing their backgrounds or anything. They're just killed off later, and you will feel nothing for these characters. Like, in the first one, you got attached to the character. You got attached to the black guy, which I can't remember his name either. You got attached to the other girl that turned into a zombie on the train at the end, which I can't remember her name. Man, that's sad. And you got attached to all the characters in the first one, even though they all died, but you all felt for them. They explained their stories, and they got a background, and there was character development. Same thing in the second one. You got to know Jill. You got to know LJ, which was my favorite character.
Too bad he died.
In the third one. But he was just a great character and always expressed emotion. And it was just a great character.
Played Grand Theft Auto a lot.
And like what was the other character's name? He died in the third one at the very end where he blew up in the truck.
Chris Redfield knockoff.
I know that. What was his name though?
I can't remember, but all I know is he was like
Chris with names.
What he was like.
Carlos? Is that it?
Yeah, Carlos. That was
Carlos. Like, Carlos, his character was explained, and he had tons of character development. He changed a lot from the beginning of the movie. And in the third one, you got to know Claire, you got to know Kmart. All their characters were fully developed. And
except for LJ's girlfriend.
LJ, well, she sort of was, but she was more developed than the characters you met here. But these characters were no better than cardboard cutouts. You didn't feel for them. You didn't express. Had no emotion whatsoever, and it wasn't like LJ or Carlos. There was nothing to them. They were just cardboard cutouts to be ripped apart later.
Never mind. I'm gonna mention this later in our review.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, let's get to the executioner.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, these people, these survivors. How they survived was they got into
a prison.
They got into this empty prison, and apparently all the guards and all the prisoners had left long beforehand, and
became zombies.
I don't know. Well, anyway, they all broke in, and they just been living there for God knows how long. And when they heard about Arcadia, that safe haven, that ship, they started sending out flares and trying to call them and stuff. And like 2 days before Alice got there, they lost contact. Anyway, they show her around the prison, and they eat dinner together. And the other cardboard cutout mentions that, what about the one-way? Shh! We don't talk about that one-way.
Ooh, who is that?
Remember, she says, there is one way out of here. And the black guy's like, no, shh! Don't talk about that one way out of here.
I don't remember that part.
I do. But, and then the black guy, I can't remember his name. I'll also say the football player. The football player takes her down to the basement level of the prison, and there's a guy down there for some reason. He's just another cardboard cutout. Who cares?
That you barely even see at the
You see him twice. Once when they go into the basement, he introduces himself, and the second time is when he dies.
When he's a pervert.
And when she goes down there, she sees this prison cell that's in the middle of a room. I guess it's like solitary confinement or something. And it's Chris Redfield. Spoiler. I'll put spoiler alerts on the YouTube videos to make it so don't watch this if you don't want to see spoiled. But trust me, there's no play. Well, there's not much to spoil.
Wait, how are they gonna realize that this is a spoiler alert without getting to this part in the video when you mention it's a spoiler alert?
Oh well. Anyway, it's Chris Redfield in the prison cell, and he explains how he got there, and Chris Redfield's character sorta gets developed in this movie. Sorta, but not very much. He just always has that badass attitude on.
But there is one thing I like about this movie. This has to be the first Resident Evil, and I'm speaking in games too, where Chris Redfield and Claire Redfield actually get united. In all the games, there's always a storyline where Claire Redfield is trying to find Chris, and Chris is trying to find Claire.
Well, they get reunited in Code Veronica.
They do?
X. Yes.
Well, actually, it's Claire's looking for Chris, and Chris is just messy,
yes.
and Chris is just running around shooting zombies in the face.
Okay. Crap. I keep losing my train of thought because you keep like bursting in like that. Crap. Okay. Chris is locked in a prison. In this prison cell, and he's explaining how he got there. The military came into this prison when the zombie outbreak to make it some sort of base. And they released all the prisoners because they needed people on the street to fight the zombies away.
Bad idea, man.
And the prisoners knocked him out for some reason and locked him in that prison cell for some reason. And then when the cardboard cutouts found him, he explained to them the story, and they said, "We can't let him out." And they asked the NFL player why. He says, "I can see in his eyes he's a killer. We can't let him out." So they never let this guy out, even explained that he's a military officer, and that he was locked in there by prisoners, and that he knows a way out, and he'll tell them if they let him out. And they won't let him out because the NFL player says, "I see evil in his eyes.
He's a monster.
He's a killer.
He's a monster.
He's a killer." Anyway, it skips to the next day, skipping another chunk of plot. Oh, wait, before the next day happens, you look in the prison showers and something's bursting underneath the floor, and it's cuts to the next day. Anyway, the next day, Alice is going to take a shower, and the NFL player leads her in there and says, "I got a towel here for you. I'll go wait outside, so..."
In case there's any trouble.
Any trouble, so you stay here and take your shower.
Or if you need a shower, buddy.
Shower, buddy. Anyway, he goes outside, she's about to get the shower, but then she hears something in the corner, and you think it's a zombie, and she gets her gun out, and it's just the one guy that I mentioned earlier. You see him twice, and he was down there doing nothing. I guess